Hey everybody, it's that time of the week again, so I'm Stitch Kitten, and today we are continuing to work on this color challenge wheel that we have been working on for 4 weeks now. Gosh, almost a whole month. July is about to end, and we are still working on this thing, and we're only halfway done, so we've got a whole nother 4 weeks of working on this thing. Unless I decide screw it and work on it without you guys and do something else with you guys, but let me know what you guys think of that. We'll figure it out. Anyway, so today we are gonna work on this light blue cyan slice, and I have kind of whoops, hold on. And I've got kind of a cult classic character here. I guess not really. It's a pretty just generally popular character. Lots of people like her. And honestly, to the watchers of the movie, she's not really a villain. She's not really meant to be portrayed to the audience as a villain. However, we're gonna do our villain in name only prompt justice, and I said at the very beginning that we were gonna count people that were villains in their own world, so we're gonna do Elsa today, because Elsa Frozen is like it's a good movie. Lots of people who don't like musicals and who don't like animation really liked Frozen, and I think that, like, there's a lot of really cute, cool messages in Frozen that are portrayed in a really digestible way for everybody. So, we're gonna talk a little bit about Elsa today and her character, and I'm gonna pull some references up here, and we're gonna get started. So, again, Elsa is not really like a villain to the viewers in Frozen. Like, she's kind of purposefully portrayed as a misunderstood character. The people that are against her were meant to not like, were meant to think that they're being irrational. So, it's not that she's a villain to us, but throughout the entirety of the movie, she is like kind of in hiding, right? And even when she isn't in hiding, like, from her kingdom, she is kind of in hiding just, like, from herself and her family, right? Like, she isn't really allowed to use her powers or anything because she thinks that it's going to just blow everything up. Like, her parents have made her, like, very scared of, like, the things that she can do. So she ends up just, like, suppressing all of her powers and all of her magic, and it ends up being like way more of a problem. And I think that is one of the first, like, really cool messages that Frozen gives everybody. And excuse me while I get my tablet out because I have forgotten to do that. There it is. So, but I think that is one of the first, like, really cool messages that Frozen has portrayed in a really digestible way, is that, you know, like, people sometimes just have things that are different about them, but, like, you know, if we hide them and stow them away, it usually makes them a lot worse. It usually makes them a lot more of a problem because people don't, like, understand what to do with it or how to deal with it. And I think that that's, like, a really cool thing for kids to learn. That, you know, you should just, like, figure out how to be yourself instead of figuring out how to, like, hide things that make you cool, you know? I think that like that's just generally a really good message for people to learn, but it's really cool that it gets to be like so digestible in a kids movie. And I've got my tablet now, so we can start drawing. Alright, and I think with the Maleficent one, I tried to make her fit in the square too much, and I ended up with kind of like her head looks kind of squished now that I'm looking back at it. So we're gonna try and avoid that with this other piece that's like the same kind of like orientation, just flipped. But I also do want to make sure that Elsa isn't, you know, breaking into other people's space too much, because I want to make sure that whoever gets this dark blue indigo space gets, you know, proper recognition too. So I'm gonna think about the framing on this one a little bit. Maybe I could just have it so that her head kind of like comes into just the corner of here, and she's like kind of behind Maleficent, and then she could have like her hand up right here or something with her little frosty powers. That's kind of nice. That's probably pretty okay for framing. And we probably will get more to time on this one, just because this is like a 3D CGI movie, you know, so there's shading and then less for hardline work. So, excuse me, I thought I was gonna sneeze. Oh, I did sneeze. Okay, well, anyway. Hi! We're just doing the Cyan piece of our color challenge. We're doing Elsa. And yeah, I think Elsa is a really good character for our villains in name only prompt, just again because she really is just tormented by her kingdom. Like, since she's been very small, she's been afraid of like everything. Like, she's isolated from her family. She doesn't really have any friends, because even if she wasn't like super powerful Ice Queen, she'd still be queen, right? She's still this really powerful royal figure in charge of like a whole kingdom. So there's already like a lot of reasons why it's really easy for her to feel isolated. So like in Elsa's case, it would be super important for like her parents to accept her and to be very kind and gentle with her, and they just are not interested, which is really sad, because then, you know, for the whole movie she's afraid of this thing that, you know, is just like an amazing superpower she has to learn to control because she's made a mistake and she's hurt somebody with it. And so, like, at that point, you know, her parents could have helped her, like, get a hold on it. Like, they knew who gave her the powers. They could have gone and talked to, like, the trolls or something. Like, there could have been things that were done besides just, like, making her feel afraid of herself. And so, for the whole movie, she's just, like, trying really hard to make sure that, you know, she doesn't touch anybody, she doesn't do anything out of place, because she's worried that any little misstep is so powerful from her that it can ruin literally everything. And if she just had a handle on her powers, like, it wouldn't matter if she made a misstep or if she got angry, because it would be handled. And I think that is a really good takeaway from this movie too is that, you know, your parents are a really big force in your life. Like, even if you do not agree with them, like, fundamentally, they are going to shape some of your perspective. And with, you know, really young children, that means that, like, sometimes you can have, like, a child with something that's really cool about them that just gets stifled because, you know, their parents are afraid or uninterested in learning. And that's really sad. And I think that it's a really good message for, you know, kids and parents who I think watched this movie. Because it kind of was just like a family film. Hello. Oh, no worries. If you missed something and you want to go back and watch it, I put all of these VODs up on YouTube, and they're up on my Twitch for however long Twitch saves them automatically, so if you're interested in going back and seeing some stuff that you missed, if you missed something. But we're mostly just drawing and sitting and talking about the character. Probably if you cut out a couple of seconds, you won't miss anything too super crucial. And I think one of the ways that you can see, like, truly just how strong, like, a parent's influence can be on a child is, we're drawing Elsa from Frozen. But yeah, I think one of the things that, you know, is really like a sticking point in the movie for showing how powerful, like, parental influence is on children is just that, like, you know, even after her parents are, like, deceased, like, they have been MIA on a ship for years, like, she's still afraid of herself. She still can't break out of those messages that her parents have given to her, that she is like a terrifying force to be reckoned with, that she can't interact with anybody or it'll be dangerous for them. Like, that's a lot to put on a child. And especially a child that can't talk to anyone else. Like, her only resources were supposed to be her family, because she's a royal. She's already kind of isolated, right? So, it's, like, it's a big deal for her parents, I mean, even more than other parents, for her parents to not accept her. And for her parents to be so afraid of her that they have to lock her away. And that they convince her to be afraid even of herself. So I think that that's, like, especially because, you know, Elsa doesn't end up being the villain in the end of the movie, you know, there's all of the, there's also, you know, all of the, excuse me, all of the end of the movie where she gets to help Anna, and, you know, there's all of the snow and such. I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've seen the movie. But there's, like, a lot of celebration and stuff at the end where she is accepted by the kingdom, and I think that that's, like, a really important message for kids to learn. Oh, I think I've seen that Elsa's parents are, like, also the Tarzan parents, because, like, their brother was, like, on the ship with them or something, right? I think I have seen that one too. That's kind of an interesting theory. I love when all of, like, the the canonic, like, you know, like the Disney Pixar universe things have like these really weird, like, little wormhole rabbit hole story things where secretly all of the movies are the same movie. I think that that's a lot of fun. But yeah, and the other really sad thing that I think the movie portrays really well is that uh yeah, the whole universe timeline stuff. I think that's super fun. Um, but anyway, what I was gonna say is that I think one of the other things that the movie portrays really well, um, that's like a good thing for everybody to learn is that, you know, like throughout the whole movie, Anna is trying like really hard to help Elsa because she doesn't have all of these preconceived notions of Elsa as a monster. She doesn't. All she knows is that they were playing when they were young, and then, oh no, she's gotten hurt, and Elsa's no longer allowed to be around her, like forever. And that is so sad to Anna. Anna doesn't even really care. Yeah, she's just her sister. Anna doesn't even really care that, you know, that Elsa's hurt her. Like, she just wants Elsa to get. Yeah, she just wants Elsa to come back and be her sister. And so I think that. And Elsa really thinks that if she lets Anna be her sister, that it's going to be a problem and that it's going to hurt her. But, like, the whole movie, Anna could have been helping her. And I think that if Elsa had just, you know, broken out of that mindset that her parents had given her, that she wasn't deserving of that help. And I think that that's a really important lesson for everybody to learn too, you know, that everyone deserves support and help. Like, it's not just, you know, people that are easy to help that deserve help, right? And if Elsa had just opened up to Anna at any point after her parents had passed, and there was no reason for her not to, it would have been much easier for her. But she's so stuck in this, like this really traumatic place that her parents have put her in, where she is a problem and she can't ever not be a problem. And I think that that's a thing that the movie portrays really well in like a very digestible way for both children and adults. And I think that that's like a great message for people to learn. So I think that that's also a really good reason for Elsa to be on our villains in name only board, because, you know, she really, even when she's being a villain, you know, all she's doing is just trying to keep everybody safe. Yeah, we're that's the whole prompt is villain in name only. We're drawing uh people that are, by definitions of, like, you know, the, you know, IRL morality, or like by their own universes, are considered villains, but, like, you know, by some other version of morality, are not actual villains. They don't conform to like an actual sense of like evil or malice, basically. Which was a really hard and complicated prompt for me to pick, to also want to draw like women who are traditionally underrepresented in media. So, like, you know, the one from Monsters Inc. Oh gosh, what is her name? Are you talking about the girl with the snakes? Oh, Yeah. Unfortunately, we have mostly been doing female presenting characters, as you can see on the wheel. But Randall is a good idea. Uh, if I can't think of anything else. Um, yeah, like I said, I kind of backed myself into a corner on that one, and I picked like a really complicated prompt. But we're doing our best. And I'm gonna go over the sketch one more time, and then I think we'll probably start inking. Oh, Ursula? Does Ursula have like a secret hero backstory? Or is she like secretly trying to protect Ariel? I don't know. I mean, she is purple. Yeah, I think I picked a too lore intensive prompt. I don't watch enough movies to do my own prompt, I think. But we're doing our best. I think we've done okay so far, keeping to the prompt. So far I have one for pink, but I don't have one for the other two purples yet. I was thinking I'll probably do Nimona for the pink one, just because I just watched that movie and it was so good and I loved it so much, and she fits into this prompt about the same way that Elsa fits in here, so Nimona is a movie that just came out like pretty recently, but it was a super good movie. I don't want to spoil it too much in case you want to go watch it, but it is basically about this this like, you know, creature person thing that shapeshifts and is called Nimona. and basically ends up as like an ipso facto villain just due to the fact that they can shapeshift. And everybody's pretty scared of that. And there's a lot of like really cool representation in the movie. Like the main character is like this really tough macho knight who is also very gay and dating this other very tough macho knight. And there's like there's a lot of really good representation of like bigotry and how it's like very harmful to just like the general population, and to social consensus. So like I think that it's just like a really cool movie overall. And the main character again is the knight. Yeah, no, go watch the movie. It's super cool. It's super fun. I think I explained things like a little bit wordy and drawn out probably too, so I'm sure I don't help for people who aren't like lore heads or whatever. But it is a super good movie. If you like just like, you know, quirky little underdogs and knights and magic and shit, it's fun. It's a fun movie. I think you can watch it on Netflix. I don't know where else. I think I watched it on Netflix. And I am looking at the sketch here and thinking that it's looking pretty good, so I think we're probably gonna come in and do the line work next. And again, I want to be kind of light on the line work just because it is like a 3D animated movie. It's not flat. There aren't actually any like lines in the animation, so we're gonna try and be pretty light and pretty... Oh. Oh, that's fun. Yeah. Well, everyone is bad at the beginning. That's unfortunately how it works. But best of luck. I think drawing plushies is super fun. But you do have to be really good at like curves, which I am not so much. So like if I try to draw circles freehand, it is a problem. I have made many jokes about it on here before. I think probably Edna, with all of her little Simpsons curves that were really fine, took like the most time just to do the hair or her nose and stuff, you know, just because there's so many little curves there. I'm not so good at them. And I'm also gonna turn the background down a bit so I can see the line work I'm doing here, just because my lines are gonna be the same color as the color wheel lines, just so that it all kind of looks black. Or at least that it's, you know, like my darkest tone there. And I'm gonna have to come redo that star because that looks gross. But I think I'll probably do a second pass on the line work anyway, so I'll leave it for now. And I think I made her chin a little bit too shallow, so what's that? And treble. Yeah, plushies are great. When I was little, I had like kind of a problem with those like crane games, you know, like the claw machine things. And I got like way good at them, and then had like a room full of stuffed animals that like had no space for the stuffed animals. And I think they probably ended up just getting thrown out at some point when I moved, unfortunately, but I did have like so many of them. Now I just have like a few. Oh no, eyeballs. Here, we can make the joke about me not being good at curves now, because I have to draw eyeballs. This one gets to hide behind the star, so I don't have to worry about it so much. One of the things that keeps people from seeking help for problems a lot is thinking that, you know, either their problems are their fault, or like they're not problems, or they're not fixable, you know, just like stuff that is usually not true, that is just like usually things that people have said to them when they were smaller. And I think that Frozen, like, I think that Frozen is a really good way to represent that, you know, like, sometimes people have things that, like, seem dangerous, right? And really, they're just trying their best with what they've got, you know?
It's been a long time since we have parted ways. It's like I've lived through all these years still waiting. Well, now here we are. Isn't it funny how we swore before that it would be the last time? Even then, it's strange. My feelings haven't changed. It's been too long. I don't recall how we ended up like this.
Yeah, right? Like, you know, usually people are not scared of, like... Yeah, people are not usually scared of, like, things, right? Like, sometimes people have phobias, right? And that's different. But, like, just, like, generalized fear and anxiety is usually, like, not about something specific, right? Like, if you pinpoint it, it usually gets less scary and terrifying and like weird because you're comfortable with it, right? People don't like things that like are new and uncomfortable to them, and I think that it's important to learn, like, for everybody, that just because something is new and uncomfortable doesn't make it like bad automatically, because humans have traditionally labeled anything that's new and uncomfortable as bad, and we learn over and over and over again that that's not the case, and still new things come up and we go, oh no, bad, ooh, icky. So, you know, maybe we'll learn eventually, but I think that this movie portrays that really well for people, at least. And I think that, you know, they also portray like the getting help part really well, because throughout the whole movie, Anna, who doesn't have her sister's problem but also has like, you know, a really big, she also has a really big issue, right? She has to go help her sister somehow, despite having no powers, despite having nothing to do with her sister for like years. She is still now, by her own, you know, by you know, her own appointment, she's decided that she's the one who has to go find and help her sister. And she does that by asking for help from like everybody. She asks for, well, you know, besides the kingdom, who is trying to harm her sister. She asks for help from like everybody she meets along her journey to help her with her sister, because she has been taught that, you know, sense of community and family that her sister didn't get. And so she gets to ask for that help because she feels comfortable doing that. And you get to see all of these people that she's never met before reach out to help her because they also are just people doing their best, right? And I think that that's like a really important message for people to learn. Oh, congratulations. What are you going to college for? Drawing then? Or just you like drawing? College is kind of spooky. Well, that's cool. Mechatronics? Oh, that's neat. Is that like robots and stuff then? Like electrical engineering and things? That's cool. I think electrical engineering is so cool, but I don't think I would ever be able to do it because I had to take just like one binary class for my computer coding, because I have a computer degree, but also I had to take like one class for like assembly, I think, or basic or something, and or maybe it was basic and assembly. It was like very low level coding, and I had to do just like some really basic circuit stuff with ones and zeros, just like to make a little calculator or something, and that like was brain numbing to me. I cannot do the ones and zeros and little wires and crap like that. It's too much. Unless someone wants to like give me instructions for the whole thing and I can just go one by one and put everything together, like I don't want to sit there and do ones and zeros math. That is horrible. So good on you for being able to do that, because I cannot. I think I am gonna do one more pass on this sketch. Oh, and I forgot to turn that way. Just so my lines look less chicken scratchy. And I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee, so I'm gonna put my tablet down for just a second. Excuse me. I'm also gonna drink some water. You guys can look at skin colored Edna because I think it's just because there's some pink in the yellow from when I did all of the color mixing originally. So when it gets turned down, it looks kind of like rosy. It's kind of unnerving to see a skin-colored Simpson. Alright. Here, let me get back to my line work. Yeah, right? It's kind of I didn't notice the first time I did it either for Maleficent, and then and then when I was gonna go, I think, turn it back up or something, or maybe like halfway through, I noticed, and now it's just odd every time I look at it. And I think I'm gonna turn the size of my line down a bit, just because I don't want to have to monitor my pressure so much. It is kind of cursed, yeah. And I'm gonna try and move this hair bump up a little bit, because right now it's kind of leading into her eyebrow, and I want to make sure that those definitely look like different things, and that her hair does not look like it's part of her eyebrow. And I am gonna make sure that I'll have to come back in and put like a border, like maybe like some just like some white backlighting or something, because I think right here by the top of her head is gonna look kind of messy if I don't delineate it more somehow. I also think I maybe want to make this star thing a little smaller because I have cut into that blue quite a bit, I think. So maybe I will, unfortunately, unhide this eye that I would now have to draw better. But also, I think I am gonna take this star and make it just smaller in her hand. And then I'll come back and draw the eye better. Now I have to come back now and draw the eye better. The eyelashes kind of stick out a little bit because she does have some big, pretty eyelashes. Leave a little highlight in her eye there. And I want her lips to be kind of puffy because they are very, very red, and I want that color to show up. So and I did notice that one of her eyebrows is a little bit raised, and I was gonna fix it, but now that her other eye is showing, it gives her kind of a like, what, who me kind of expression, and I think I'm gonna leave it. I think that's kind of cute and on brand. And she does have a lot of ruffles on the dress, but I'm not gonna draw all of that just because I'm a little lazy. And I also am not so good at folds and ruffles and stuff. I think if I try to put a bunch of those in like the sides of the frame and stuff, it's just gonna look messy. So I think I'm gonna leave her arms kind of out and her dress kind of simple, like after she, like, you know, puts a bunch of, takes off her sleeves and stuff, you know. Now let's turn that other line off. I think this was supposed to be with the arm, so I'm gonna erase that. Even if it wasn't, I think it looks nicer if it's in front of the arm, so we're gonna... And I think that's looking pretty good. Is there anything else from her character that I want? Oh, she has like a little, like in her face strand, right? Like here. That's cute. I'm gonna make sure I keep that. Okay. And now that might be it for the line work. That's looking pretty good, I think. Maybe I'll just add some little sides here. Some extra little things in her hair. Just to give it a little bit. You know what? I don't like that. I'm just gonna shade it. Okay, in that case, I think we might be done with the lineup. So we are going to get started on the rest of this coloring. Gosh, my hair is so fluffy. Hi. My hair really is so fluffy. I took out so much of it, and it used to be like kind of flat and dry. I've been learning how to take better care of it, and now, like, it's still a lot, and it's still really frizzy. It's nicer, but it's still there. It does not stay out of my face or anything else. It just is everywhere all the time. Like, I think the last time I went and got like a real haircut anywhere, they said I had like 5 layers of hair or something. Like, I know, like, as far as I know, other people have told me that they go and they get their hair cut in like 2 or 3 layers. So, to have 5 sounds to me like quite a bit anyway. I don't know a whole lot about hair, so I'm not a professional or anything. Don't quote me, but that seems like it should be a lot. Oh, whoops. And you know, I'm half tempted, just like kind of as a joke, to pick the color that's Edna's face right now and see if that would work as an okay skin tone for Elsa, because I think it might. I think it kind of does. I think it's kind of perfect, actually. I might just use that as Elsa's full skin tone. Actually, I think it's a little too dark. Elsa is very, like, frosty looking, just like, because she's, you know, snow queen. So I think I am gonna bring the skin tone up a bit. Just so that she comes out looking very pale. And I think that's probably one of the other things that the movie portrays really well. Is just that, like, you know, Elsa is also, like, physically very different from her sister, right? Her sister doesn't care, but lots of people are probably not encouraged to approach her because she also does look very distinctly different from everyone else in the kingdom. And people kind of like point and look because it's very clearly her whenever she's anywhere. There's not really much hiding for her to be doing because she's very pale, her hair is very blonde. Like she just is very distinct from the other people in the kingdom who are mostly a little bit darker, you know. They all have a bit of a tan because they work outside and stuff. Even her sister has a bit more color in her skin than she does, and a lot of them have very dark hair, very dark eyes. Like a lot of them are not as like pale and delicate looking as she is. Right, she is, I think, meant to look delicate. Like she's all very bright colors that are all very, like, they all kind of flow together. She doesn't have a lot of contrast in her character design. She's meant to look very poised and put together. And I think even after she does her whole kind of like power transformation thing, right? Like she's still not really meant to look like harsh, right? She's not meant to look like edged and lined and like tough, right? She's just meant to look more powerful, right? Just like kind of more in her own. And I think that that's probably another really subtle like attempt at teaching, you know, that people can look different than us and still not be scary, right? Because like they really do try to do all of, I think, like the little trope othering things for Elsa. Like, you know, they isolate her from her family. She didn't really have any friends to begin with. She kind of looks different, right? She's kind of just like a collective, like, of all of the different just kind of tropes for outcasts, right? She has a lot of different pieces of her character that are meant to cue you in that she's supposed to be like a misunderstood type character, that you're supposed to feel empathy for her as a misunderstood like outcast character, because she is just very different from the others in her kingdom. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do this cyan background here. I think I'm going to turn it back up just to check. But I'm trying to decide whether or not I want this cyan background to be her main dress. Yeah, I think I do want it to be the main part of the dress. And I think I'm gonna pick it just so I can turn. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll just turn this back down. I'll color her hair, and then I'll turn it back up so that I can just see it for doing the rest of the coloring. So her hair is, again, like very, very light, very different from all of the other characters in Arendelle who have like very dark hair and very strong, tough features. She's kind of like delicate and soft looking, and she has this very light, almost white but not quite blonde hair, just like very pale. And I'm gonna come up here and make sure I'm not drawing on the background. And again, I'm just gonna color in her hair here over the color wheel bit so that I can see. Just so that I can turn the background back up and it's not gonna be overlapping any of my lines where I can't see them. And get a little bit more careful around the face just because I did kind of block these in. Like her skin tone bit's kind of messy. So I don't want to block her hair in messy too, or I'll have to go in and do a bunch of erasing. And I'll have to be careful about... I guess I can just move her under Maleficent. Maleficent's green, yeah? Cool. I just don't want to have to go and erase a bunch of, like, her hair really carefully to get Maleficent's outline right. So I'm just gonna put Maleficent on top, even though that makes my color coding look a little weird. Oh no. Has my drawing program crashed? Of course. Everything was going so well, so something has to go wrong. That's how it works, right? Well, if I save it, is it gonna reset it where I can... No, but it does look like it's saved it, so maybe... We'll just restart the program. Do technical difficulties. Okay, so hold on just a second while I restart this. And we will be right back to drawing.
I've been waiting for good times, just looking for my inner light, trying to live all my dreams, but life is nothing what it seems. I say I never lost my chance, now everything can make sense, even when I was in the dark, it never made me fall apart.
And let's hope. Oh, my drawing program crashed because everything was going so well, you know, something bad had to happen. We're gonna be back in just a second. We're gonna cross our fingers that it saved and that everything is fine. It looks like everything is fine. Yes? Okay. It has opened. Hooray. I think it's probably okay now. Okay, cool. I just went to erase this little bit of her bangs and everything decided it wasn't gonna work anymore, so I think I think that was cursed for just a second, but it's erased, so it can't hurt us anymore. That is the one problem I do have with Krita. I love Krita so much. That's the drawing program I'm using. It has so many tools, and a lot of open source creators use it, so there's a lot of brushes and stuff that you can just download for free, and lots of tutorials, and it's just a very well-rounded drawing program overall. But the one problem I do have is it has crashed on me more times than, like, I think any other program I use. Like, if I... Like, it's probably... I probably should have been more appreciative that it hadn't crashed on me for any of these streams yet, because it has, in the past, been kind of notorious for just deciding to close while I'm working for no apparent reason. And just then, I wonder if it's possible that, I maybe confused it by moving so many layers at once, but also, I mean, I just had to do that. That was just... But I guess I can try and avoid doing that in the future. Because it actually hadn't crashed for the rest of this challenge. And I think that's all the pieces that are in the actual border. So I'm gonna turn the background back up and pick that cyan color for her dress. Oh, it looks like I'm gonna actually clean up some of these other layers first, because she has some blue spots. So let's see, this is the hair layer. I'm gonna come clean up her hair a little bit. And I mean, maybe we can come and put some cyan spots in here on purpose afterwards, but just because she's got her, you know, snowy ice power stuff, but also I don't want there to be just like a bunch of random blue stuff in here, so I'm gonna clean that up just a little bit and make sure there aren't any spots in her hair down on her chest or anything either. Excuse me, and I'm gonna clean up that outline just a little so it doesn't... There. And then one more clean up, I'm gonna clean up the skin tone layer. Now that I can see the background. And then we will do some less flat coloring, probably. Alright. So that, I think, is looking pretty good. Excuse me, I'm gonna take a sip of my water here. Excuse me. I turned my air purifier down just because it makes a lot of noise, but also I live in like a very dusty place, and so now I'm just very congested, so I'll have to just turn it back up. So I can stop clearing my throat into my microphone. And I'm gonna take this cyan color that we have for her dress and just make it a little more gray and a little less saturated, just because, or sorry, a little less saturated and a little brighter, so that it kind of looks like the same color but like a finer material, kind of like she's got for her, you know, collar in the movie. And I do think her dress in the movie is probably a bit brighter, like quite a bit brighter than my dress, but I picked the blue that I picked, so we're gonna stick with it. And I'm gonna come in here and color in this edge, and I think I actually do want it to be even brighter than that. Like, maybe even barely be able to tell it's blue. And just clean up those edges a little bit. And I am noticing while I color in this cuff here that I have forgotten to color in her arms, so I'm gonna go back and fix that. There we go. Fixed. Alright, and I am gonna zoom in a little bit just to paint her face. And we're gonna ignore how gross everything looks zoomed in because it will look fine again once we zoom out. I said that and now I'm sitting here fixing stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna paint her face. So I want to pick her skin tone, but then I also want to make it just a little bit more red and turn it up just a bit in saturation so that I can do her little blushes. I think I want it to be a bit more saturated than that. And then I also want to darken the red even more and make it pretty bright because again, uh, she does have like a very bright red lipstick. I think it's actually even brighter than I've made it. It's like very, very red. So oh, thank you. I'm also gonna pick her skin tone one more time and turn it up a bit to do her eyes. And she doesn't have like a lot of makeup on, but it looks like she does also have like the same kind of blush color a little bit on her eyelids, so I'm just gonna paint that in here.
Oh, let me see shovel, so I can dig your grave. I'm actually getting impressed.
Actually, I think I want it to not be white that color, so I'm gonna switch it up just a little bit, and I'll pull out this, just color that. Until it looks like that. Yeah, that looks better. And looks like I missed a really tiny spot there, so I'm gonna fix that. And maybe I'll clean up. Excuse me. Jeez. And maybe I'll clean up her hair a little more, that's what I was gonna say.
Everything above your neck's gonna be a fine red mist.
I think that's just about okay for the hair. Whoops. If I don't randomly color on top of it. I just get some more. I saw a couple more of these little spots on the edges. But I think that's mostly okay. I do want to come in here and shade her hair a bit. Just with some hue shifted colors. So I'm gonna pick that one again and shift it just a little bit towards blue and turn it down in color just a little. And come in here and paint some shadows in her hair. Because I figured I would like this a lot better than doing the line work for it, just because she is like a 3D rendered character. She doesn't really have like cell shading or anything like I've been doing for a lot of the other ones. So I can make her look very smooth with the colors. Probably most of her little braid is gonna be darker, so I'm gonna be pretty liberal with the shading on that. And I'm gonna be not so careful with how the shade looks, because I'll probably do a couple of different colors of shading, a few different values, just so that this looks very like smooth and 3D and rendered, as opposed to our other little flat cartoons that we've got here. And I'm gonna add some little dark spots around the edge of the face where the hair is gonna get kind of tucked and be just like mostly in shadow, like on the bottom of the bangs and stuff. And then I'm gonna come in and again be kind of more liberal with it on the braid, because if you think about it, like braids have lots of pockets and stuff, so they have lots of spaces for different highlights and things in the hair. I'm gonna turn down one more time and do one more layer of just some very dark final accents for the hair. Just for some of these like very extra side curves where there would be a lot of shade on the hair. And again, to make it look like the braid is very tight and tucked together. These braids have lots of pockets. And that's looking good, I think. So I'm gonna pick the skin again, and probably do just like some light shading on her face. Thanks.
But I don't think it matters when there's so much more waiting for us. So
Again, I'm gonna shift it just a little bit towards a cooler tone and put a little bit more shade in there. I'm just gonna come in and put just some basic shades in here, and then I will add some darker shades after. And then darken it again.
So now here we are.
And just add one more layer of light shading on the face. And I kind of want to be a little bit more liberal with the shading on the neck for this color, just because your neck is usually a lot darker than your face, because your face is covering it. And I think actually maybe for this one I'm gonna erase some of the shading that I did around her eyes, just because I think it was a bit much. I'm gonna come find my little smudge tool and smooth out some of this face shading, just because with the hair I can kind of more rely on just like the natural like way that the hair flows for the shading, but I want to make sure that the face looks more blended, so I'm gonna come in here with my little smudge stick and just kind of blend out those shaded areas. So that they look a little bit smoother and a little bit less lined, because again this is like a very rendered looking 3D character and I want it to not look like I did a bunch of line work and stuff, even though I did. I think I'm gonna do one more layer of shading, just a little bit darker, and I'm just gonna do it on the neck specifically, just so that it is really obvious that I've done. Oh, I'm still on the smudge stick. Cannot color with the smudge stick, unfortunately. Yeah. Just one more layer on the neck down here. And then I'm gonna come in and smudge that too. And then we're gonna go kind of repeat the same process, but for just the arm. So where did I start? Alright, so come in here and put some basic light shadows down. And just get the bottom of the arm and the hand. And I don't think I probably need to do more than just the one layer of shading on that, just because it's gonna be right next to this glowy little star, so it's gonna be pretty bright, and I don't wanna... I still want her skin to look very pale and very delicate, so I don't want to shade all of it too much. So we're gonna keep it like that. And I'm also gonna come in here and take this cyan and color in this star a little better. Maybe do just like a background for the star specifically or something. I say background, but I mean like to draw on top of the star. Just so that it kind of pops against this border here a little bit. I think that looks pretty nice. And I think I'm gonna take just like a white bright color and do kind of just like between the star and the cyan, so it kind of looks glowy. Maybe some little particle things with the cyan. I can turn the cyan down a little bit and just do like some cute little outlines. For the snow things. And it's looking really good, I think. I think I also probably want to just on top of everything take this cyan color and paint her eyes cyan. I know they're kind of like a darker blue in the actual film, but also I think they're gonna look pretty that way, so I'm gonna paint them that way. Then I will come in with this bit of a darker blue. And one more time with a bit of a darker blue. And then one last time with like almost a black and just do some little irises, or sorry, pupils in the irises. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And I'm also gonna pick the line work color again and just clean up her eyelashes a little bit over top. this one's a little bit thicker than the other one. So I'm gonna make this one a little bit thicker. And that is looking pretty good. A little bit of shading on the dress, I think, still. And then we'll have to write Elsa and some pretty snowflakes or something. And we should be just about done. And I want to make sure that... thank you.
Everybody's talking at me, and maybe I should turn it off. Shelter. I know that I've been waiting for some shelter.
Yeah, I want to make sure that I get just a little bit of shading on.
I can't control the words I've been saying. Filter me out, my mind is just playing. Heart is running wild, got me talking like a child. Fire in my soul, I know I'm just faded. Lifting me up, I know I won't take it. Sparks are running wild. Yeah. Got me starting up a
I'm gonna do this part on top of the line work too, just because I think it's making the dress look a little bit more floaty, fluffy. And make her lips look a little bit more highlighted. Just kind of shine.
Lately, everybody's talking at me, and maybe I should turn it off. Shelter. I know that I've been waiting for some shelter in my heart.
I think that that's looking pretty good.
Filter me out, my mind is just playing. Heart is running wild, got me talking like a child. Fire in my soul, I know I'm just faded. Lifting me up, I know I won't take it. Sparks are running wild. Yeah. Got me starting up a riot. I'm bringing that fire. Gonna go wild. So get higher.
Maybe there's kind of like a chalky, powdery brush we could use for writing out Elsa. That would look kind of snowy. What about maybe this one? That one's a little too sketchy. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Like a chalk pastel or something. We can put like some bright white snow coming off of her border. Into her name. I think I don't want the border to be covered quite that much, so I'm gonna erase this a little bit. I'm
Running
gonna
back and
turn
forward
it
'cause I'm
down
causing
a
you
little bit,
heartache. Thinking I can leave you any second of night. Never been the one that the emotionally closed off. Maybe 'cause it's feeling
just
so
kind of make this
right.
look
I'm
like a
needing
little
you, more than you know. You got me
cloud,
spinning
and I'm
inside,
gonna
contemplating
smudge that.
letting go. The way you move, shake it
Oh,
slow.
oops.
I'm dancing by your side until the afterglow. I wanna run with you in the morning.
I just want to smudge that out like this so that it looks kind of gradient. And then I'm gonna take a more lined black and I think if I kind of just like make my lines kind of droop at the bottom here, it's gonna kind of look like icicles, you know? So, I'm gonna do just like some little sharp droopy lines at the bottom of my letters. Add a couple more in here. I think that's looking pretty good. And I think that might be it for today's drawing. I'm gonna zoom out and we can all stare at it here for a second. And I will look at it and make sure I'm not missing anything. If I'm not, let me get my water. Yeah, I think that's probably done. I don't see anything wonky I missed that's real obvious or shading I didn't do. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, I think it is. I also think it's looking good and pretty finished. So, I think that's gonna be it for this week. And thank you everybody for joining and for tuning in. And for people who talked in the chat, that was fun. Thank you. And anybody who wants to watch this here or elsewhere, thank you so much for supporting me and the channel and all of the everywheres. And if you want to watch this here or on any of my here on Twitch or on any of my other socials, everything should be linked to everywhere else. So feel free to go check out some of my other artwork or just to, you know, watch these vids for anything you missed somewhere else. And I will see everybody next week at the same time. And Yeah, hope you guys all have a lovely week. See you next week. Bye.